Welcome everybody to the Hurdy Burke Internet Broadcast Network, and we are broadcasting from Round Rock, Texas tonight. And I have another one of my wonderful friends on, Jack Stanley. He's the family coach. And Jack, say hi to everybody.
Greetings, Florians. How you doing?
There you go. And so, guys, we're going to spend about 30 minutes talking to Jack tonight about some questions about what he does with his coaching. But because I give all my podcasts for free to my clients, I have a sponsor. So we're going to hear a brief 30-second message from him, and we'll be right back.
Howdy, this is Todd Frank, owner of Jerry's Garage. We've been serving our customers since 1967. You know, vehicles have changed greatly over the years, but quality customer service and sound repairs have not. We've earned a great reputation with our clients. Check us out on Google and Yelp. So when you need repairs or maintenance on your gas or diesel vehicle, you'll call us. We work by appointment only and sometimes emergency. So our number is 512-255-7627. That number again, 512-255-7627. We look forward to earning your business at Jerry's Garage.
Okay, guys, we're back. Jack, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, Rudy, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Is this the first time? I think it is. Is this the first podcast you've been on with me?
It is. I'm excited to be on here with you. See if I can straighten one of us out.
That's yeah. You're always throwing that slider at me, buddy. You know, just that slider.
I'm playing with you, man. You're sure you're good. You're good.
Well, here's the thing. The reason I asked that is this is like almost close to my 200th podcast since I've been doing this. And
wow.
I was just thinking back. I've done Kim a couple times, but I don't think I've ever done this with you. So I'm excited that you're on tonight. Cool. Well, as you stated earlier, you're a family coach.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing that, well, by the way, you gave us 10 questions to ask on this show. And the first one is, and I like this, you call yourself a rapid change guy. Jack, what is that?
I'm going to tell you a little history in answering this question.
Perfect.
For about 20 years, I have a degree in psychology. I got in business and sales. So for a number of years, I've owned my own business and did sales. I've always done some level of counseling or coaching as part of what I did. Used to be more as a ministry. And I worked with either some form of guys and women with addictions. So I did that about 20 years. And if you look at a 12-step program, it takes 8 months to a year. Most of them do. If you look at several of the other addiction coachings, I learned some stuff about 5 years ago that started speeding the process up. And whether I'm coaching someone in business or coaching someone in their marriage or coaching someone in their personal challenges, I'm finding I'm moving much faster than that, like a fraction of the time. The approaches I've learned, they come from a very specific area. There's a guy named Milton Erickson that died in the 80s. He had a thing he called brief psychotherapy, and he started doing some techniques that went from zero to changing people's lives dramatically, extremely quickly. Then Chloe Madonis studied under Milton Erickson. I studied under Chloe Madonis and Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins actually has taken what Milton Erickson and Chloe has done and pushed it over on a public scale very, very solidly. So I actually am coming from a vein of something called brief psychotherapy that's called strategic coaching. It's called strategic intervention.
So that's
it moves fast.
Yeah, and that's good. And you know, so it's not the length of time, it's getting the process done is what I just heard you say, correct?
Right, correct.
Hey, so this is an interesting question. Does everybody need or want to change? And if they do need to change, what are you talking about?
Well, not everybody wants to change.
That's a pretty loaded question. Need or want?
Yeah. Well, what happens? I think I could tell you this in a personal story. I have a first marriage, and it was pretty physically intense. And I I was never a physically intense person. I could do verbal, which is not good either. But the person I was married to was verbally intense. After I divorced, and I have failed at things, that's one of the reasons I can have people avoid what I've done. But after I divorced that person, I was talking to a new friend, and he looks at me and he says, "You were abused in that marriage." Now, I'm a guy, and I'm not I thought, hell no, nobody abused me. He goes, "You were abused in marriage." And he said, and he started telling me some things happened. I said, "How did you see that? How did you know that?" And he said, I know the thing. And once he told me, it just hit me. Yes, that was abuse. Because I could take it, I didn't think it was abuse, but it was still abuse. I was being hit with fists, etc. And because I was a guy, I could take it. It wasn't that I couldn't take it or couldn't stop it. I just wouldn't because I didn't want to hit a lady. And once I realized that had happened, there was a release inside of me that was there. And sometimes you don't realize what you're living in. You don't realize where you are. If you've always had challenges in your life, you may think they're all just normal. If you always felt guilt and you feel guilt in your life and you have a guilt feeling all the time, you may just think that's normal. And if you're living a pretty good life, it's fine. If it's tripping you up and causing you not to be all that you were made to be, then it's not fine.
Yeah, that outside looking in thing's hard to do, but people from the outside seem to see things we don't when we're in it. You know, that's a very true statement. So, how did you go about this change, Jack? The change that you're talking about. How did you get your process started? I know I added to the question, but I'd be interested in that story.
That's fine. I've done, like I said, I've been coaching for the last 20 plus years. About 10, 12 years ago, I had some businesses that failed, and my whole lifestyle fell out from under me. And my wife convinced me to go to a Tony Robbins event, actually. And I saw what he did there actually changed me rather dramatically in that event. Just to give you an example, I came back, and this was not a business setting, but I came back and I increased my business by 81% the next year.
Wow.
And so it was that kind of impact. Since then, I've been to several of Tony's events. I cruised some of Tony's events. And then I also took the Robbins Madonna's training. And I learned that strategic intervention is about looking past what people say the problems are, understanding where they came from, but we don't dwell in the past. The understanding helps you learn to create a new state of mind. And I teach people how to control their state of mind at any moment of the day and how to change their state of mind. So let me give you an example. I know you're married.
I'm not married, but I've been living with her for 8 years. How's that?
Okay. Well,
same thing.
Have you ever argued with your significant other?
I have.
And have you ever been in an intense argument knowing you were right and she was wrong, and you're telling her very intensely how right you were, and the phone rings and it's somebody on the phone that wants you to do business, and you go from being very intense and telling you right to be very nice? Have you ever done that before?
No, never.
No, never?
Hey, don't give me the confession on here. Of course.
How fast did you change?
Of course. Yes.
So how fast did you change your state of mind in that moment?
Pretty quick, right? Pretty darn quick.
Just snap of the thumb.
That's right.
I teach people how to change their states of mind at will that fast.
Wow.
And if you could learn to work with your state of mind and stay in what I call a beautiful state is not a pain-free state, but it's a state of understanding that pain is not always optional, but suffering is always optional.
Yeah, that's a good statement. And so that's kind of leads into what you were just talking about, that strategic intervention coaching, right?
Right.
Is that bringing people into their state of mind, their present, and living in it in the right way?
I work with the physiology, the physical body, the mind, and I work with the focus, the things you focus on, and help people change their focus and figure out what they should be focusing on. We get a story, things happen in our lives, and we tell ourselves a story about it, and that story gets reinforced. And the story may not be accurate at all, but we just live that story over and over until we do something to change it. And we begin to identify the stories that are tripping you up and change it. You build a whole blueprint based around stories that happen.
Yeah, because that's how you want to live. I mean, I get that. You want to live in the present. You sure as heck want your present to be a good thing, you know? So
Yes.
does that discipline take, how long do you think that process is as part of the rapid change? Do you find that you can get somebody thinking in that direction fairly quickly once they understand some things?
Yes. It takes between 15 and 20 hours.
Okay.
Sometimes it's a little 6 to 10 of it. And I say sessions. I don't do sessions by the hour. I do sessions by however long till we find the right proper stopping time. So they could be an hour and a half, hour and 3/4. But somewhere around there, which is a lot less than if you talk to some counselors. Coaching is not counseling.
Right.
They may work on a problem for a year or two.
Yeah.
50, 60, 100 sessions. We move pretty quickly. The key here is, though, I teach when my businesses were failing, Hardy.
Yeah.
I have to go to church. I have beliefs. I have my own belief system around that. And while I am a Christian, my coaching is not necessarily aimed at Christians because I have people from all faiths that I work with. But when I was there and my business was failing, people would say, "You need to just spend time in prayer and just turn this over to God." The question is, how?
Yeah.
How do you let go of something that has you wrangled and has your guts all spinning around inside and your head spinning around because it's so intensely bad?
Yeah.
I've learned how.
So you just mentioned a minute ago that there's a difference between coaching and counseling. Could you fill us in a little bit on those differences?
A counselor is a counselor or a psychologist. A psychiatrist is a little bit different. Psychiatrist usually works with you in the realm of treating mental illness with drugs. A psychiatrist or a counselor works in the realm of treating people. They tend to look at the past. They tend to spend a lot of time looking and seeing how things are put together and helping you process things that are there that may be in your way. It's more of a deep personal look, and they're more directing you to where they think you should go because they think you've got there's some deficit. Coaching is about saying, what is it you're wanting? And then helping you achieve what you want. I don't go to someone and say, well, I see all these problems. And I go to someone, I'll say, what is it you need help with?
You did to me today, come on.
I go, I know you are. I look at someone and say, hey, what is it you need help with? Now, I may wind up helping them with something that's behind that.
Sure.
Because when someone comes to me and tells me they're angry, anger is never the end emotion. It's the symptom. I think I can tell you a quick story. I can tell you this. This gentleman came to me and said he was stuck with a particular income level. And every time he got above that income level, he either lost jobs or changed jobs.
Wow.
And he's getting into his 40s, and he said, why do I keep being stuck at this ceiling? And so there's always a reason. And pretty quickly realized that his dad was different than him. His dad had worked in the same job until he retired, and he always turned down promotions. And this person was more of a go-getter, wanted to do more. But he was stuck at the ceiling just a little bit more than what his dad had made. And exploring his relationship with his dad, it was okay, but they weren't close because his dad had traveled a lot. There's a lot of things happened in the past with his dad. And he said, and then we figured out very quickly, this is in one session, not weeks, that he felt like if he did a lot more than his dad did, he would lose what relationship he had with his dad because it would make them too different.
Wow.
Now, that wasn't the truth. So we had to change, and that feeling was in his body, it was in his mind, it was in his heart. So we had to get to the truth because his dad loved him. His dad wasn't going to go anywhere if he made more money, if he was more successful. But we had to get to the truth, and he's actually taken some steps since then and moved forward, taken some pretty dramatic steps forward since then.
I imagine as a coach, you probably have, I guess I'm not going to ask what a typical client is, but I imagine you work with what types of people? Individuals, marriages, business, teams, what?
Interesting. This approach works well with individuals, with individual challenges. Married couple that maybe wants a more intimate marriage or a stronger marriage, or maybe that's at the edge of a marriage failing. Those people I work with. Then I have people in business that are trying to grow their business. I've got a lot of sales training in my background. I can help them with those things. When I get to teams, it's about helping the team understand that healthy conflict is okay. How you manage conflict is very important. And if you have a team that has no conflict, you do not have a growing team.
Yeah, it's true.
So you have people that are pushing and interacting, and you have to build a system that they can actually communicate both success and conflict in a healthy manner. So I work with teams to help them figure out how they actually make that team fit together in a way to push, so everybody is pushed in an appropriate way to be the fullest of what they can do.
Yeah. Hey, Jack, real funny here.
Mm-hmm.
You would have loved us in 2001 when the .com bust came. Our team was in conflict.
I bet you were.
Take my word.
A little bit of finger pointing.
You think? Okay, there you go. Perfect. So if you have like a .com team, you need to call Jack. Okay, that's what
yeah. So if you have a team where everything's being decided in the back room and they're coming out and telling you, rather than including the team in the decision-making process, there might be some discussion we can have too. Go ahead.
Or we're just having a boxing match in the back room, period. Whatever you want to say, there you go.
It can happen.
Yeah. Hey, so you obviously telling the story and answering questions kind of self-answers this next one, but what got you interested in the actual coaching aspect of what you're doing now?
Since I was in high school, I've wanted to help people. Either I thought I wanted to be a psychologist, and that's what I worked on. That's the reason I worked on my master's in clinical psych. And then life hit me a couple curveballs. I wound up going different directions because I had, at one point in my life, a very sick child that was costing me lots of money, and I had to pay the bills. Mm-hmm. So I took some different directions. So I've always done this as something more as an avocation, the primary vocation. And what I've looked at now, I'm old enough to retire, but I'm not retiring. I looked at my life and said, what I want to do this next season. And I have two things I'm doing. Coaching is something I'm wanting to build. And I'm building coaching in three areas. One in the business side, and then the personal side and the marriage side. So awesome. I'm finding a lot of fun. If you want to know when I light up, when I sit down with somebody and we actually go through some things and deal with stuff. It's a very quick, it's a very direct process. I don't sit passively. I don't sit passively beside the couch and say, "No, you don't." If you felt that way,
I know Jack. And Jack doesn't sit. No. Yes. People listening first time don't understand. Jack is officed in the same co-working center that I'm in, and we see each other quite a bit. So I know that's true. I know that's true. Hey, so does your business allow you to work outside of local, or are you more focused on local, or do you do it all over the place?
I have people, I have clients ranging from Ireland right now, mostly local, one in Illinois, and like I said, Ireland, Illinois, and local right now. Yeah. So I could talk to someone almost anywhere. I love Skype or FaceTime or those mediums. Yeah. Sometimes just the phone, and you can do very similar process on the phone as you can with real life. If I'm doing, sometimes I will want to do. Sometimes I use a little hypnosis in something. I don't use it over the majority of the time. I typically do that in person. Yeah, that makes sense too. So you're open to mainly locally person to person, but you do have the ability to do it phone or some multimedia. Yeah. I've worked with people in a marriage situation 600-800 miles away. I've never met them besides on the phone. That's awesome. And we help them resolve the issues in their relationship. Somebody comes and says, what would you suggest to someone? I guess I'll rephrase this. What would you suggest to someone who thought they could use some help? you make that question, you put that little thought word in there. I'm thinking about it. Someone. So let me define what someone who might come to me for help. Obviously, someone in a crisis. Okay. If someone it could be a new crisis, it could be an induced crisis, meaning a spouse or significant other has just left.
Yeah.
It could be a business situation. I have a person I work with from time to time, helping them through their business, the corporate world and strategies and how to manage that corporate thing. So it's usually something has happened. The other person that comes to me is a person that says, things aren't bad. My life is generally okay, but almost all the time I walk around feeling like there's something more I should be.
Oh, wow.
Something I'm not quite, I am not doing badly, but this is not where I feel like I am most comfortable in my life. Other words people might use, I'm a fake. Other words people might use, which they may not be a fake, but it's the feeling that I don't feel like I'm ever enough.
Wow.
And sometimes those people are very, very successful people, but they would tell you they never feel like they can rest because they're never enough. Life needs to be some level of balance where you have a sense of well-being, and when you don't have that, it's time to say what's the truth.
Yeah, and you know what, Jack? If anybody's ever listening and decides to jump out of a structured job and get into their business, they'll get this answer real quick.
Yes, they will.
They'll find out if their nerves are always spinning and turning, or if they can relax within it and balance it. They will learn really fast, one way or the other. I'm telling you.
Right.
We've all
Yes.
I've been through that. I know that feeling, right? So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not moving to Montana. That's a joke. So
Okay.
what's the changing your state thing? What do you mean by that?
Well, there's first of all, I believe I'll mention this. We won't have time to talk about it tonight. I believe you do everything you do. Everything you do is to meet one of your needs. Yeah. And I believe there are 6 needs. And I believe that if your needs aren't being met, you will even break your moral code to meet your needs. How do you change? But let's talk about your state. Your state of mind, it comes from 3 things primarily. Your blueprint, which determines what you focus on. So if you feel like you're a successful person, you focus on your success. If you feel like a failure, you focus on your failures. If you feel like what are you focusing on? Then something happens, an event happens. And you look at the event, you focus on the aspects of that reinforce what your state of mind is.
Yeah.
And then when you have that, you define it. When you put words to it, words are next. You give it a meaning. When you give it meaning, you create an emotion. When you create an emotion, your body changes, because all emotions are felt in the body. And so if you want to change it, so for example, something happens that makes you feel down, depressed, or whatever. I can tell you to change your words or your focus. That's sort of hard for you to do. I can tell you to try to change the meaning. The more simple thing is tell you to change your body. So I teach people how to change some anchors, physical anchors that anchors in emotions. I can teach them how to do some power moves that gets their body moving. So if you're depressed, you breathe more slowly, your body slumps more. You shake your body out, stand up, breathe, move, and start shifting the emotion. As you do the body, then you add the words to it, and you start changing the words. Yeah, I call it gammas. Or voice. I don't like voices. People think you're crazy. It's not voices like crazy, but you got something. When you get quiet, there's a part of you that, and if you have some discomfort, there's a part of you that says, "Have I done enough? When's the other shoe going to fall? What's wrong?" A sense of just not there, not totally there-ness, and that's telling me there's something you haven't come to grips with that's in your life that probably needs to be dealt with.
And so do you see the coaching process is reactive, or do you see it as proactive, or is it both?
It starts as a reactive process because people are coming in with some issue there or some aspect they want to look at. It quickly becomes proactive because then we teach you how to get ahead of what's going on. And here's the thing. If I taught you to bench press 300 pounds and you stop bench pressing for a year, could you still do 300 pounds?
No.
Okay. So I teach you the systems and the ways you do things, not physical exercises, but the exercises you do to keep yourself on that right and healthy track.
Yeah. Good.
because it does require consistent work. It's not something you just do once and go, now I'm fixed, now I can be like I've always been. Yeah. But it's there. I recently did a weight loss thing, and I am not on a diet anymore because I reached my goal, but I am eating differently than I used to eat, because if I eat like I used to eat, I'll be back to where I was. So you have to daily, I have to do things differently than I used to do them. It's not a diet. It's the way I live my life.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle choice instead of just,
right.
And it's also proactive in that you're always working with it. That's awesome.
Right.
So, Jack, do you have, I haven't even asked you this yet, do you have a website for the coaching?
I do.
That you can send, that we can list on this podcast? Can you tell us where we can find that?
It's it's www.lifechangetools.com.
Good. I'll put a link on the description of this too for you. So that's awesome.
And it's a site built with Jack, and I'm not a website builder. So if there's something you think I need to do better, let me know.
Yeah, but at least go check out his website. And, I would say this, if people that will be listening to this, and you'll be sharing it out, of course, hopefully,
sure.
If you've heard something on here that they think that they could use your services for, I highly recommend Jack. He's been a personal friend for several years. I see him just about every day, and he's fun, and he's a great guy to be around, and you will enjoy his company. How's that? How's that for a recommendation?
Whoa, I need to pay you large sums of money for that one.
Oh, good. Okay. Check's in the mail. Well, Jack, is there anything we missed? Do you have anything, final thoughts?
Gosh, do well and prosper, everybody.
Yeah. Hey, one more thing, because we got a little bit of time. Do you, are you still doing your all-day classes? Do you have one coming up?
Oh, yeah, I do. I actually have a class called Tools for Transformation.
Okay.
It's a one-day class. It is a long day, but I promise you won't get bored, because I shut up a good portion of the day. But it's October 6th, starts at 11 in the morning. We'll finish sometime that evening. And we actually look through what the 6 needs are. We'll look through what needs you're meeting, how you're meeting them, why you're choosing those needs, and we help you reshift the needs so they're in a healthier form. And then we create a whole new blueprint for your future and some tools that you can use to move your life forward. And it's a great class for anybody who just feels like they would like to learn a little more about how to get a handle on themselves. And the class is $150. If you sign up now, it's $125. That includes lunch and dinner.
That's awesome.
So it's a one day. It's held at Cedar Park.
Yep. And I know we dated this one, but these are ongoing things you do throughout the year,
yes.
Correct? It's not just one time.
I do this class twice a year. And then I do pre-marriage classes. Once I get a few people, I'll do a pre-marriage group class for people that are about to get married. It's really good if you've already been married once, if you want to work through some things. But I work with the couples on how they look at, and we do some testing actually to figure out how the couple's going to look at money and where those arguments are likely to be. And sometimes people are surprised when they see the testing results. And we look at how the couples begin to put their lives together. As they're thinking about getting married or moving in with each other, whatever they're looking at doing.
Yep.
And I have a few other classes throughout the year, but that's my 2 biggest ones.
And these are all on the website too. So when they go to the link on the website, they can see this. So Jack, thank you. We want to thank everybody for listening to the Word Broadcast Podcast. And Jack Stanley, thanks for being a great guest and diving into the deeper things of life that sometimes we just kind of don't look at.